All right, good morning. I wanted to start out by just giving a little bit of history or a little background of Wacker and what we do. We actually make different chemical components that go into almost any market segment that you can think of. My friends will ask me, well, what do you do? What do you make? And I said, almost anything you eat, drink, touch, we probably have some kind of product in there as part of the composition. So we are a global company, and we're considered one of the leaders in the chemical and semiconductor industries. Okay. We were founded by 1914 by Dr. Alexander Wacker, which is why we pronounce it Wacker, but it sounds like Wacker. So we're actually celebrating our 100-year anniversary this year, so it's a big deal. So we're 100 years. We're headquartered in Munich, Germany, and just a couple of points. Our sales are on here, but our R&D and investments, Wacker has always put a lot of emphasis on R&D and investments within the company. And globally, we employ about 16,000 employees. About 1,000 of those come from the United States. Just kind of gives an idea of our global impact. This was actually mapped for our Wacker Academy, which is what I had headed out. We have different educational centers throughout the U.S. and throughout the country, but we are a global company with technical centers everywhere. Okay, so now to get on to the e-business part of it, the e-solutions. My role within Wacker as e-business manager is basically to sell our e-solutions systems to our customers. I have a person within the company. She's within IT. She handles a lot of the technical aspects of it, but essentially mine is like a sales service that I provide for our company. So when we first decided to start doing electronic orders, Wacker created its own website portal called Login for More, and there's several different functions of that. Our customers could actually place orders through the portal. If they wanted to, they could also go in there to pull their order documents, take a look at all their orders, and pull their order documents, delivery documents, anything like that. They can also go in and take a look at some reports to see how many orders have they placed this year. So what it's really doing is it's pulling information directly from our SAP. We use our SAP system. It pulls information directly from our SAP and then provides it to our customers online. So that was the first step. What we realized is that customers, to place an order in a portal, required two steps. It required first them to go into their system to do what they needed to do to create the PO, and then go online to create another order. So it was a two-step process, double the work. Nobody likes to do that. So we came up with the next solution, which was Elemica's ERP system, which is machine-to-machine. Mainly for our larger customers who were already Elemica partners, they place an order in their system. Orders get communicated directly to ours. So everything back and forth, the delivery confirmations, everything was going back and forth between the two systems. We still use it. This is a great system. But what do we do for those customers in between who don't have the ERP capabilities to be able to communicate via EDI? The smaller customers because it takes a lot of resources and time to set up the EDI connections. What do we do for those middle-sized customers that kind of fall in between? There was that gap, and that's when we turned to the Elemica Quick Link email. What this system does is the purchaser of the company, if the company can send readable purchase orders, they email their purchase order to an Elemica email address, and that information is read off of the purchase order, and it goes directly into our SAP system. So it eliminates all the data entry by our CSRs, and it automates the orders. We found that this is a very easy sell for our customers because it essentially is no extra work for them. The only thing that they need to change is the email address to whom they send their PO. It's an actual Elemica email address. So other than that, there's no change to them. So we found very good success rate with convincing asking customers to use this. One thing I should mention is that with all of our e-solutions, we never require a customer to use it. We ask and we explain the features and benefits for all of them, but we would never require a customer to sign up for them. It's very rare that we have a customer who doesn't want to use the email system just because it's no changes, but you never know. Sometimes we've had a couple that for one reason or another just didn't want to use it. So Elemica Quick Link email has been very successful for us. They also have the option of a print driver, which we have not used personally here in the U.S., but we do have that availability if something came up. So, okay, so in whole, the e-solutions, it saves a lot of time, and we would hope that it would save time for both our customers and for Vacker. It optimizes the business processes for both Vacker and our customers, streamlining everything as it comes in. Increases efficiency and improves our order accuracy. We always like to say we hope that our CSRs are perfect, that they would never make a mistake when they're entering an order, but nobody is perfect. So we're almost guaranteed 100% order accuracy with the orders that come in via Quick Link because it's reading the data right off the purchase orders, and it has to be readable data, so it's not guessing at the characters, it's actually picking the data off the purchase orders and placing them into our system. Full transparency and ability to place orders 24/7. One thing I didn't mention is that our company is on the East Coast, then we have our West Coast customers, and they can't always reach our CSRs during their business hours because they've gone home for the day. So the nice thing about Quick Link is that they can place their order anytime, day or night, and when they place their order through Elemica, they receive a confirmation, an order acknowledgement from Elemica saying, we have your order. It's not confirming the delivery date, it's not confirming the time, anything like that. It's just saying Elemica has received your order, so you know that your order is going to get through to Vacker, is essentially what it's saying. Once the order is in the system, our CSRs handle it as they normally do. It's the way our SAP is set up. They have to go in and actually confirm the delivery based on quantity, based on lead times, and then they send the actual delivery back. So Quick Link is only acting as an order entry. From the point that the order is entered into our system, our CSRs follow up with that order as they normally do. We also tell our customers, or it's a fact, that because our CSRs don't have all the mundane order entry, that it actually gives them more time to spend with our customers if there's an issue with orders or deliveries, or if they have any questions or need some kind of paperwork. It's a great tool to allow our CSRs more time to spend with our customers. That's one thing that we won't do, is we won't take away that customer service aspect of it. We just want them to have more time to spend with our customers one-on-one. So in the end, optimizes communication and hopefully is a win-win situation for both our customers and for Vacker. Any questions so far? Yes.
So a couple questions. So how long have you been using it? How long ago did you implement the?
I believe it's 2011. I have another slide I will show that'll give a little bit of statistics on how long we've been using it and how many customers we have signed up. And
yeah, my other question, if it doesn't address that, is how did you go about the setup? Was it individually? Did you do groups of customers, and how long did it take? Because even if it's nothing on the customer side, there's obviously something you have to do on your side to be able to read, to be able to set it up so that your SAP system can recognize what's on the PO. There has to be some type of mapping and that type of thing.
That's the Elemica magic.
That's the Elemica magic.
There's very little you need to do on your side.
Yes. When we set up a customer for Elemica, we request about 4 purchase orders so that we can send them to Elemica, and Elemica can map based on where the information is on the purchase orders. So, of course, each purchase order really is specific to that customer, and so Elemica can map that purchase order. And there's a lot of special cases too that you wouldn't think. I wonder if they can pick up this information, and they can. It's amazing what they can do with this system. So we Renee will fill out a spreadsheet kind of on the specifics on where everything is and where to look for the purchase order, but it's actually Elemica who takes those purchase orders, sets the system up, and Renee will test the purchase orders once it's set up, once the mapping. Normally, if it's not a real intricate purchase order, it can be set up in 7 to 10 days for a customer, so it's really quick. Which I like too, because you go in and you talk to a customer and you talk them into using the system. You like to be able to provide it to them as soon as possible, so that way, a month or two from now, you're going back and saying, hey, it's ready, and it's out of their mind. So we like to get it going for them when it's still fresh in their mind after speaking to them about it. Does that answer your question?
Kind of.
Kind of.
I still think it's not as easy as that, but we're in the process.
Well, for our
Excuse me?
It really is. So I'm also from background working for the European part, and I didn't believe in the system when we started it. And I said, well, okay, there's going to be a lot of errors and everything, but it really doesn't take longer than 7 to 10 days to get it finalized, just because you don't have to involve the customer that much. And we have those processes worked out between us and Elemica, so that we have a continuous rollout. We hand over like 2 customers a week, and they get it done from 1 week to the next.
So maybe my question is for Elemica, not you guys, which is that it's one thing to have you guys do the setup, but I'm guessing, because we're working on it and testing it with you guys now.
Okay.
And I know there's mapping. I know there's table mapping in my SAP system that my IT resources are working, and that.
That may be enabling the connection to Elemica for the first time. Right.
No.
Because we got to get the order created.
we have tons of full B2B connections already. So maybe I just need to chat with you guys offline, but because one of my biggest concerns is how do you if you make the decision to roll it out broadly, which we're trying to do, and when and if we decide to do that, what's the change management around that to make sure that if you do offer broadly, you can respond and it's a sustainable process going forward. To make sure that, like you said, if you offer it and they say yes, which is likely the case because it's really no work on the customer side except for changing that email address of where to direct it to. How do you make sure that you can respond quickly and get it set up without it taking a huge amount of time between the time that you get the commitment to do it and actually being able to implement it? So
Maybe that's with the way we have set up our SAP to work with Elemica connections. So we require no real IT programming or involvement to set up a new connection. It's all data cross-referencing.
right, and I think ours is the same way. So
Yeah, so there's no IT involvement for a new connection. It's all done.
and we may have our own inefficiencies in our IT department. So I say that. So I work for ExxonMobil, so it's just big, beyond belief. So the priorities and resourcing and all those kinds of things come into play that potentially smaller companies are more nimble and agile in being able to respond to things. So it may also be just the sheer size of our organizations and priorities.
Typically, once you have this going, the IT work is pretty minimal. It's partner data set up, and then it's testing and with client onboarding in the test environment, and then it's switching to production. That's it. The mapping part happens in the Elemica shop.
Okay.
Now, I will say with our SAP system in the last year or two, we've done some tweaking to our system because our CSRs were, I don't want to say complaining, but they were frustrated with some of the aspects that, for an automated system, you would hope that you could put the order in and then boom, you just create the delivery, but there was a couple of things that they were having to do consistently to the orders to change them when they came in. And so we've improved our SAP business processes in there as a global initiative to tweak the system, always trying to better the process.
Can I ask one more question? Sorry. Well,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
All right, I'm going to ask my question because it may help you. One of the things that you said is that this is, it sounds like it's order capture.
Yes.
And so you're acknowledging order capture. Is it actually order placement?
It is placing it into our system. It is creating an order in SAP.
A held order.
Yes. Well,
But then
it's
we
creating
look
the
for
order
your
in our.
normal checks, right? So if you did credit checks and availability checks, right?
So I'm wondering, is it truly hands-free where you, like the customer places it, and in theory, nobody has to look at it unless it's a block?
Right.
Is that actually what's happening?
That's correct.
Okay,
Schedule.
okay, because it sounded initially like you were saying that the CSRs would take up their normal process, but the
That's it.
CSRs
The way-
should not
yes,
actually, they
the-
shouldn't actually have any internal process because they shouldn't even have to see it.
I think that's specific to how your system works and how your system is set up.
Okay.
We have it set up so that our CSRs still have to create a delivery document,
Oh, okay.
which is kind of like an order confirmation. They have to create that document to take into effect, because one of the things with QuickLink is that you have a 4 to 6 week lead time on a product. That customer could place an order theoretically to deliver tomorrow. You still need to confirm that order based on your lead time. So the CSR needs to go in there and change your delivery dates, maybe change it based on a truckload quantity, whatever you have arranged with a customer, the requirements. So that's the reason why they still have to deliver or create the delivery, is to take into account lead times, material on
So
hand.
they are pretty much held orders, like they're waiting.
Yes, they are in our system.
They're waiting for some.
And I think she's right, that's company specific.
Right.
So I think in theory, it could be no touch if you encountered no blocks.
Okay.
Or didn't run
Okay.
into any delivery, credit, price problems.
Well, one of our clients, Bayer Material Science, has that sort of setup where 30% of their orders are strictly no touch. If they have relationships in place with customers where those orders just sail through, they don't do any
So if
checks, no.
yeah, if it meets
Okay.
all the requirements and you don't need to make any changes to it, if your system
Okay.
is set up, it should automate the delivery. It can automate the delivery creation
Okay.
and prepare it for shipping without anyone doing anything.
Okay,
Absolutely possible.
But it's a business issue. Yes.
okay.
Or a
For your-
process and or
Okay, so
system
that has
question.
nothing to do with the Elemica component of it.
Right.
That
That's
happens to
on
do
the-
once
We're
it
delivering
gets
the
into
order
your
and then-
system.
So they wouldn't necessarily know what happens to it after that order is captured.
Okay, okay.
For your ERP process, the ERP to ERP process, you still have the same CSR process for those orders also?
Yeah, they have to
So it's an
confirm the
internal,
delivery.
right? So they-
Okay.
It's an internal,
they're
and no matter
checking
what.
Even the direct connects, their
Yes.
internal process is checking the release of those confirmation emails
Okay,
out too. So
okay, so this is, okay, so it's personal.
it's a client specific, yeah.
And how do you handle the change order if that's necessary?
Changes are handled as they normally would. The customer notifies the CSR directly, either by phone or email. So.
Now, what about the other direction?
And that's a Wacker decision out
Yeah.
of Germany. That's not, that is not an Elemica thing. That's a Wacker decision on how we want to handle our changes.
Theoretically, we can handle Elemica order change messages, but they would just send an info email to our CSRs because supply chain basically doesn't want these things to flow through unseen.
So one other question, so you said your primary original solution was your own portal,
Yes.
right? And then you had also full Elemica B2B connections
Mhm.
where you have customer input and your input mapping and all those types of things.
Mhm.
So, and you said in your portal, there's reports and document retrieval.
Yes.
So do you differentiate between transacting and interacting with that portal? So that, let's say you pursue the Elemica QuickLink piece, do you still encourage and or ask customers to interact with the portal so they can
Yes.
also?
That'll be coming up also in my,
Okay.
in another slide. But yeah,
Keep
there's
going.
several
Okay,
options
we'll
that we do, so yes.
I think
So I have one more question.
Yes.
The documents that are coming from your customers, are they Word documents or PDFs?
They can be, and that'll be addressed, as long as it's a readable document, it can be an email, as long as their body of the email is always the same, like sometimes your system will generate that, like a Kanban order or
We
something.
have some smaller customers that will create PDFs for us,
Mhm.
but sometimes it's on like a dot matrix printer. I mean,
Oh.
you see struggles with
Scan
Elemica
documents.
trying to
Yeah.
map that correctly.
Well, we're not OCR, we're not optical character recognition,
Right.
so we're not trying to interpret dots on a paper. It better be a real PDF. I'm not sure how the dot matrix would come into it, because really they would just save as PDF, right?
Well,
But as long as the form looks the same, right, and the boxes are in the same places and they
It has to
use
be-
this
Then we
a
can
standard
interpret it.
format of
It's
material
gonna be
numbers.
readable quality of the orders. It's gonna be readable quality.
If you can think
Well,
it,
it's not an image, it has to be data.
it has occurred.
You have to actually be able to click on, like if you have a non-readable PDF, let's say, you click on the document and it'll highlight the whole document like a picture. If you have a readable purchase order, you can click and highlight the words, and that's what it's actually picking up, those words that you can click and
Customers can
highlight.
scanned it to a PDF, email it to you.
No, you can't use that. you can't use that. But I do find when I'm speaking to customers that at the time are producing non-readable purchase orders, chances are they have something within their order system that will allow them to print
A real
readable.
thing,
Yeah, it's always a question I ask, do you have that capability? So, okay.
So you do have some requirements for.
It has to be a readable purchase
So
order.
when you go in, you tell the customer you have to do these 3 or 4 things in order for this to work for you.
What I normally do when I'm going to call on a customer is I will contact our CSR and I'll ask our CSR, can you forward an order or two to me? Because what I want to do is I want to mirror their current ordering system. I don't want to have to change it for them because
Okay.
who wants to change what they do? So the CSR will send me a purchase order. If it's readable, it's easy. I just go and ask the customer if they would mind emailing it to a different email address, and I kind of explain the benefits of it. If it's a non-readable, then I go to the customer and I ask them if they can produce a readable document. If they are phoning in their orders, and I can get to that later, we offer them an Excel template. We create it ourselves, and we say instead of phoning in your order, or instead of sending us an email and just saying, send me a truckload of, do you mind filling out this template ahead of time that has their products already on it, and all they have to do is fill in the quantity and the delivery date. They don't always do that, but actually I have had some customers who say, you know what, we really want to automate more, so yeah, we'll be happy to do that. So there's things that we do to try and encourage them to do electronic order. But you always have the good old voice who I phone in my order, and I just don't want to have to do anything. I like talking directly with my CSR. And in that case, I just wait for the next purchaser to come in. the younger, more hip one that doesn't mind placing electronic orders, that's more open to it. So
So here's a question.
yes.
You actually can have the customer continue to email orders to the CSR, and then the CSR forwards it on to the Elemica
They
address.
do. The problem internally with that is that we're saying, well, we do that in some cases.
Okay, you have
But
to-
is that really, it is a little bit of a time saver for the CSR because they're not still having to enter the order into SAP, which is the time.
They have to take a step.
But they have to take
before
that
they-
step. So if we can talk the customer into emailing it directly, that they don't even have to do
That's-
Well, you
that.
have to worry about people missing them, people being on vacation, do backups, do the right thing, and
Mhm.
things like that, right? You still run risk of missing orders if you've got it.
If it's going to CSR.
If you're
Yeah.
potentially, right?
We have it set-
Someone's inbox.
Email's always a risk.
Email's a risk. We have it set up so that if a CSR is on vacation, they have a general CSR email box that a customer can send the
But it's just
orders
like you said
to.
earlier,
But
right? No one's
you always
perfect, and
have
people
that.
are gonna
Nobody's
miss
perfect.
things.
Same thing with, we've had customers say, we would rather use email, quick link, because we fax over our purchase orders. Well, fax can
We don't
sit on a
have
fax
that out there,
machine, and
right?
when do you really know that they're going to get that order in the system? So, yeah. Okay, just a couple of quick facts about what we're currently doing with e-business. In last year, we had 15% of our customer base that placed orders via e-business, whether it be our portal, QuickLink, or EDI. One of the measurements that we use to see how we're doing, no, that's just in NAFTA. I cover Canada, USA, and Mexico.
I'm gonna continue that.
I cannot tell you the percentage of the customer base. I can just relate to the sales figures, and that's globally for the chemical division. It was 43% for last year of sales.
Of sales. We tend to measure how many of our invoice sales, what's the percentage that are done via e-business. That's a Bacher measurement. We're trying to figure out some other kind of measurement, and I have a few of my own that I use here in the USA. But last year we did 51% of our sales were via e-business. So the focus up until now has been all the large customers, as you can see. It's 15% of our customers, 51% of our sales. So we've targeted all of our larger customers. I've been hitting our middle-sized customers because it's the middle and the small customers, it seems typically, that place the most orders or have the most amount of line items. Those large customers are ordering tankers or ordering something that's just an easy entry. It's those meticulous ones that require the most time to enter sales orders that we want to hook up to e-business to save the most amount of time to our CSRs. So, and then of all of our 58% of our e-business customers are QuickLink. So over half of our customers that we have signed up for e-business are using QuickLink.
So isn't there another session on metrics?
Yeah, that's my other breakout.
It's at 2:15.
Okay.
It may be helpful if you're trying to look at other ways of
Mhm.
is measuring it, because
I'm going to sit in
I
on that one
understand
to
the
see.
sales point of view, but what you're trying to eliminate is basically effort from a CSP to enter.
Yes.
You're redeploying their time to do something different.
And I do when I'm my
Or having
reporting.
less people in your organization, regardless of which, what those are, maybe it's a combination of the two. And it's really the number of orders that you place, not how many dollars are associated with those orders, that gives you CSP efficiency.
We're actually looking, I look personally for the US NAFTA region, I look at the number of orders and the number of line items for the orders, because really, you're right, that is what's saving the time, is how many orders are actually going through. I have to do a monthly report, and so I do. I report the number of orders that go through, because that really is the
Just
tall
something to
tale.
think about, especially, particularly if you're trying to look at redeployment of resources to do what I would call more value-added tasks.
Yeah.
And you talked about that, right?
Yep.
Spending more one-on-one time.
Exactly.
One-on-one time with important customers, whoever that may be, right?
Yep.
The less time they spend entering orders, regardless of how many dollars are associated with that,
Yeah.
is value to the to you as a company.
Okay, I'm going to rush through the rest of this because it's almost lunchtime and she just gave me the thumbs up. This kind of tells all the different, what we're currently using right now for the different file types that can be set up for QuickLink. Again, as long as they're readable, chances are that they can set them up for the QuickLink email.
So when you say HTML, you also mean XML?
Yes. XML, yes.
We don't, I mean, so,
No?
yeah, Word and Excel should be on there,
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
right? Okay, there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And something that you asked me about before with, do we sometimes sign up QuickLink and then tie in Login for More, which is our online portal? We do. We have it so that they can create their order through QuickLink, and then if they want to pull their documents, I also set them up for Login for More, just that section of it, because it is different. I can request them to have different areas in our portals. We'll set them up to go in and take a look at their C of A's, pull them, their delivery notes, their orders, anything like that. It gives them a history of their orders. Doesn't matter whether they place the orders electronically or not. Our portal's pulling it directly from our SAP, so it pulls all orders, whether it was manual or electronic. So,
Does that make this be visible to that new control tower information platform?
The order part of it, yeah.
mhm. Mhm.
Right.
I mentioned the customized Excel templates. Renee does those for me. It's all drop downs. We create it according to what the customer normally orders. She'll create a drop down so they can just pick their product from a drop down on the Excel, put in their PO number, their delivery date, their PO number, their delivery date, and send the email off. And a lot of times that's a big help. Instead of having to handwrite out a PO, which we have some of our customers still doing, or just writing an email in the body of a paragraph. And then we also can tie in e-invoicing with QuickLink as another option. We talked about the mapping options. Elemica really does work miracles sometimes with the purchase orders that we get in and how they can map them. They can take one purchase order and create, based on each line item, separate sales orders if that's what you normally do, or they can create it into one sales order. There's situations where we have a specific material number based on material and container size. If it's a tote, if it's a drum, we have different material number designations, whereas the customers sometimes only have one, and so we've mapped it so that it can differentiate between the container sizes. Different PO, we have some customers that are consignment, some that are standard orders. So really, any type of PO format, Elemica has been able, in most cases, to be able to map for us to use for the customer. So as I said, order acknowledgement sent via email stating that the order was received by Elemica. No change to the customer's current order process, so we've been really successful in talking our customers into using it. It saves time, ability to place orders 24/7, and little to no resources needed from the customer. All they have to do is give us their purchase orders, and from there on we take it and run with it with Elemica. So nothing further is needed from the customer. And that is all that I have.